Technology's been evolving really fast. Military and warfare are places where cutting-edge tech invariably finds its way in. One thing's common in technologies adopted by militaries around the world: they're meant to gain an upper hand against the enemy and protect their own troops and assets. But China's doing something different. The control-freak Chinese regime is going ahead with the installation of a special gadget that could be used to take out its own soldiers on the battlefield. It's kind of turning a soldier into a zombie. The logic behind this is interesting, but will not come as a surprise to keen military observers. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why the Chinese Communist Party is installing devices to remotely kill PLA soldiers. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by the free-to-play military vehicle combat game War Thunder. We talk a lot about military vehicles on this channel, but what about trying them out for yourself? In War Thunder, you can choose from more than 1,200 playable vehicles from the 1930s to the 1990s and go to battle on more than 80 theaters of war. You can fly aircraft, helicopters, drive tanks, and command ships of all types and sizes, which have been carefully recreated from their real-world counterparts. It's available as a free download on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. So grab your friends and give it a try. All viewers of Defense Updates that register using the link in the description below will also get a free premium tank, aircraft, or ship and 3 days of premium account time as a bonus. According to Chinese media, Tibetan troops are now equipped with a new digital combat system, which comes with a self-destruct mechanism that can be remote controlled by senior officers. Chinese news website Gaocha reported that the new system will be applied widely, including to the special forces, foot soldiers, artillerists, and air corps. The system provides command and control, communication, camera modules, audio conversion, and information processing. Soldiers' helmets will be equipped with satellite antenna and multifunction night goggles, while a terminal is attached to their arms. Citing the report, a Chinese military blogger noted that heavily injured soldiers who do not want to be taken captive can activate the mechanism to defend his or her dignity as a member of the military, while preventing the enemy from obtaining information about the system. It also claimed that the mechanism would be remotely activated if a member of the troops has run away and cannot be contacted. This way, the soldier will be prevented from revealing any sensitive information to the enemy in case of capture. The report generated huge backlash online as netizens criticized the dehumanizing device. Some argued that soldiers should be allowed to surrender under international humanitarian law. But the Communist Party of China has reasons for doing this. Let's check them one by one. The one-child policy was brought into force in 1979 in China by the Communist Party of China to contain the problem of a growing population. Anyone with more than one child post-1980 was made to face the fury of the Chinese state. Reports indicated that the second child was snatched away from their parents. Close to 70% of the Chinese military force is comprised of single children with no siblings. They've been brought up as pampered little emperors by parents and grandparents. The economic upsurge has meant that many of these are brought up in a very comfortable environment and have never seen the harsher side of life. There's increasing consensus that in defense think tanks within China, the PLA is made up of wimps. Soldiers from the one-child generations are wimps who have absolutely no fighting spirit, warned the Study Times, a government publication in China. In 2015, perhaps having smelled the coffee, the Chinese government brought in the two-child policy. It's perceived that PLA soldiers will release information with very little pressure when captured and could be a threat to their own forces. So when a senior commander suspects that a soldier has been apprehended by the enemy, he could use the device to eliminate the soldier. After Xi Jinping took over power in 2012, he's emerged as the most powerful leader after Mao Zedong. He has time and again emphasized that PLA must obey the directives of the Communist Party of China. Viewers may note that the PLA is a rare military in the world that obeys not the government, but the command of the CPC since the days of Mao. President Xi Jinping's comment indicated that things are not fine within. Several aspects came out in the open after the Indo-China border clash, which happened in June of last year. Both India and China had suffered significant casualties. While the Indian Army stated that 20 Army personnel, including commanding officer, lost their lives, China never gave out its official numbers. The bodies of Indian martyrs were sent to their hometowns and were laid to rest with full state honor, while the communist regime has not even acknowledged the sacrifice of the Chinese soldier, fearing a backlash. This is mainly due to the simmering discontent that's running in the hearts of more than 55 million veterans of PLA who've been treated even more poorly than the current ones, and almost have to beg for their due in front of CPC's regional officials. There is an apprehension in the Chinese power circle that when push comes to shove, the PLA could actually revolt. This is where a device could be used to contain a rebellion. Another important aspect is that PLA is not battle-hardened, especially when it comes to close-quarter combat. It came to the fore during the clash with India. Around 100 troops from the Indian side, which include around 50 gadget, meaning lethal troops, were able to overpower more than 300 PLA soldiers, which even included members of the so-called Chinese Death Squad, armed with spike-embedded rods and stones. Reports indicated that they snapped the necks of at least 18 Chinese soldiers and smashed their faces with stones beyond recognition. The Indian Army's been dealing with Pakistan-sponsored terror operatives for decades, most of whom are heavily armed. It's also engaged in numerous conflicts over the years against the Pakistani Army. The PLA has not actually faced a real enemy. On top of this, it's to be noted that PLA commanders spent almost 40% of their time in political training. There is fear that the PLA could capitulate when it encounters the brutal realities of war. A way to keep the soldiers from retreating would be a threat that they'll be killed if they leave the battleground. A remote-controlled device will come in really handy in these kind of situations. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.